Hi, everyone. Alex Psych here. I have a quick presentation for you today for informational purposes only that I've entitled Psychotherapy and Collaboration. And this is my own personal uh, take. Okay. So I thought I'd present some information about psychotherapy and how I've seen it change. And I'm not presenting this as an actual broad-based presentation of psychotherapy, but just how I actually changed in my thinking. So when I started practicing working as a clinical therapist in the 80s, my style was pretty didactic, pretty uh, directive. And, I, in my defense, I guess I was working a lot with teenagers most of the time. And so I felt this need to be directive and didactic, at least more so with that group than, say, with adults. Um, and even when I provided some counseling to grade school children later on, when I worked as a school psychologist, I think there was an actual need to be pretty directive in most cases. I didn't have the freedom of time, progress needed to be made. Um, you know, um, for example, if there were behavioral issues that needed to be addressed, teachers were saying, look, we've got to do something now. So I kind of really took a real, directive uh, approach. Um, Now, if I were practicing today more so in maybe a clinical setting rather than school-based, I think I would be more collaborative in my approach, probably therapist-led collaboration more so than, say, client-led collaboration. But there would still be that level of collaboration. And I think about it even in the school setting. I would try to incorporate some level of collaboration there rather than me just being, me just dictating what's going on. Now, in my mind, therapy is more productive when the client has some say-so about what the treatment plan is, as opposed to me just handing out directions, instructions, interpretations. So this makes sense to me. So the client has some say so. So consequently is taking on at least some of the responsibility for the level of success of the treatment. Uh, so it does not turn into, gee, Dr. Al, treatment worked so well. You're such a great therapist. Nor does it turn into, gee, Dr. Al, treatment has bombed. You're such a lame therapist. So that the client owns some of the success and some of the, lack of success. So ultimately, I'm speculating here a little bit, but I'd have to check the research. But I think having client involvement ultimately pays dividends for the client down the road, as the client can then develop a sense of, I can do it, and eventually I can do this on my own. Okay. So it's not like I need this teacher all the time. It's like, okay, I'm going to be, my own teacher at some point in time. Um, and finally, as part of collaboration, I would regularly check in with my clients about how he or she felt the session went. Did she feel heard? Did he feel understood? Did she feel listened to? Is progress being made? Um, if so, great. We're on the right track. If not, okay, what do we need to do to make some little adjustments? Okay. So, bottom line, what I'm saying here is, in my thinking, I'm thinking that okay, let's get more client collaboration in this process, because ultimately that can pay dividends down the road for the client. Hopefully this makes sense. I'm kind of just giving my personal take on it. I know I've read some information about this, haven't done a lot of studying and diving into the research to verify this, but it seems to make sense. Okay, and that's it. Thanks.